Okay, class. Had a little trouble in the studio this week. The audio wasn't quite working for some of the videos, so I'm going to have to do some videos with this screencast-o-matic this week. So for this week, we're going to be talking about routine business messages. And as part of business, I'm sure you experience this very frequently. There are a lot of times when you have to craft these just very general routine type messages, whether you're giving somebody directions for something or whether you're responding to an inquiry. They're relatively short, quick messages. And again, we do them all the time. The thing that I want to stress this week is, we want to make sure we pay attention to those messages. We don't want to just quickly put something together and fire it off, because people are going to look at these and get perceptions of you based on these routine messages that you're sending out. So we still want to follow the process that we've talked about when we're analyzing our audience, we're gathering information, we're crafting the message, we're reviewing it. The only difference here is that we're probably going to spend less time on the front end and on the back end. We're going to spend less time doing audience analysis. We're going to spend a little less time gathering information and a little less time reviewing and proofreading these because they're a little shorter. But we still want to make sure we're doing all of those steps, even though it might be a little shorter. We want to make sure that we're sending out professional correspondences. And why do we want to do that? Why does it matter? Well, it's going to influence how others perceive you, how they look at you. They're going to look at your responsiveness. How quick are you maybe responding to inquiries or getting people the information that they need? That's going to be very important. And tied to that, they're going to be evaluating your reliability. Are you responding to these messages in a very timely, consistent manner? They're going to consider your attention to detail. Even though these are shorter messages, they're quicker messages. Are you paying attention to the detail in the message? Is all the information they need present, or are they going to have to call you and try to set up some other kind of meeting because you're not putting everything in there? And then your commitment to a project, to a team, to a task will be evaluated based on these messages. And of course, like I said, your professionalism. Are you making sure that you are proofreading these and reviewing them, or maybe even having somebody else review them as part of the process? So, like I said, routine messages require less time than other business messages. We still need to go through the planning, drafting, and reviewing process. The most important step, though, is that middle step, the message development. And why is that the most important step? Because with these routine messages, you want to draw the reader's attention. You want to get them to the information they need quickly. They need to find it. They need to understand it and evaluate it, and then move on, do something with that information. There might be action items or steps. So you can't bury the importance of whatever it is you're trying to send in a big, long paragraph or something else where it's really going to be hard to pull out the right information. So that message development is the most important. And this week, we'll be looking at examples where we're really going to focus on formatting. We're going to focus on those, enumerating list or bullet list and pulling out that information, making it bold, making it italicized, making it very visible to the reader. We'll go through example after example with a lot of the videos. So here's the components of a routine message. You want to state the primary message, 10 words or fewer. And we're going to do this across a whole bunch of different routine type messages. And you're going to see that the subject line is very important. So if you're doing an email, the subject line has to contain the primary message somewhere. And then we're going to put that primary message also maybe in the first or second sentence of what it is that we're sending. So we want to really make that clear to the reader. We want to provide details in paragraphs of 20 to 80 words, no more. So you'll see when we start getting up some examples, when we start doing 150 or 200 words, it's just too much. So we want to make sure we're 20 to 80 words, no more. Restate the request or key message in more specific terms later. And then throughout all of these messages, we want to state goodwill. There's going to be a tone to these messages. And if we're making a claim, for example, against an organization where we want some kind of something corrected, we want an action corrected, or we want to get reimbursed somehow, the tone of that message has to be a certain way. We can't come across as accusatory or demanding or other things. So we want to make sure that for all these routine messages that there is a certain tone throughout. Okay, so the writing process, again, we're going to plan because we got to get the content right. Identify the exact needs of the audience. Gather relevant, accurate, and up-to-date information. So we're obviously going to spend some time gathering information, maybe not just as much time as we normally would, because we're not crafting a 15-page memo or policy. We're just saying, hey, here's a quick routine type message. And create a front-loaded. That's going to be important. Front-loaded. We want that information up front, visible as soon as somebody starts reading this. We have to appreciate other people's time. So we want to create a front-loaded, direct, complete, and detail-oriented message. We want to get the delivery right, helpful, professional, reader-centered tone. I'm going to show respect for their time. Apply a concise, easy-to-read, action-oriented style. We'll go through some examples of that as we go through this week. Use subject lines and formatting to create a simple navigation design. That's going to be really important that we have a really easy-to-navigate document. And then we want to review. We want to double-check everything. Get feedback when writing on behalf of a team or a unit. So if you're doing something and it's representing other people too, like a team, you might want to get somebody, one or two people from the team, to review it to make sure that all the information is there and it's coming across with the right tone. We'll go through the FAIR process again, make sure the message is fair, and make sure to proofread because, again, your professionalism is going to be evaluated by the reader of whatever your routine message is. Okay, so that's our introduction to routine messages. It's something we do all the time at work. We're crafting these type of messages. It's just important that we still go through our planning, writing, reviewing process, even if it's shorter, and construct these in a way that not only show appreciation for the reader, but really helps them to find the information and understand the information as quickly as possible.